President Biden, speaking in Tokyo, was talking about the pressure Americans are feeling from inflation. Gas prices are up 7% on average just over the last 2 weeks alone. And the president said he's trying to provide some near-term relief.
This is going to be a haul. This is going to take some time. But in the meantime, it seems to me the best thing I can do, in addition to try to get the Middle Eastern countries, including OPEC, to raise their production of oil and move along that route, is to see to it that we continue to grow our economy, create jobs.
Manny Maceda is with me. He's the CEO of Bain Co. It's good to see you, sir. Thank you for joining us. The issue is really one of, do you see recession? Do you think that the Fed will avoid a recession?
I'd say expansion cycles don't go forever. And so the question is, yes, this will come to an end. The question is the end of the cycle, as it always does, or is the end of the long-term super cycle that we've been in? So it's just, it will self-correct and we will go through it. The question is really when, not if. And that's, I think that is the question.
But just taking what our previous guest, Mr. Sajrani, was saying, you have these massive dislocations which eventually take a toll on psychology. What are your clients telling you?
They are anticipating all different scenarios. Not that long ago, 28 months ago, we were in the same place, optimistic, trying to do PSG, and we've seen so much shock in the world in the last 2.5 years that the first thing to think about is not if there's going to be a recession, it's how do we plan and have strategies that can achieve our long-term goals, which we're still trying to do, but also navigate the next quarter, the next 6 months. And that's the balance everyone's trying to figure out, even in all the halls of this conference 2 days in.
Do you feel there's a difference here at this year's Davos? Can you feel a difference in path? There is a serious, obviously the war is a crucial aspect to this, the most important.
I think the war, COVID, there is obviously, we're happy that the world is getting back together to some degree, when we saw the pandemic versus 2.5 years ago. But absolutely, it's a very different sentiment. Everything is weighing on us in a way that we have to solve so many problems at the same time.
Right, and that solving of so many problems at the same time, it's created an overload. And I wonder whether the system can cope with it. There seems to be an anxiety in the system that we've never seen before, not for a long time.
There is anxiety, there is pessimism, there is also optimism in the various sessions I've had, partly because we did navigate the last 2.5 years. A lot of things that we actually didn't think we could do during the COVID time. Pivot to work virtually, get the benefits of digital transformation, perhaps make some progress on ESG before the war started 90 days ago. So there is anxiety, but there's underlying hope.
But what's the one thing that most of your clients are coming to you for? What is it, the one thing, the nirvana that they are seeking you to give?
Resilience in strategies. Nobody, given everything that's happened now, these are not black swan events anymore. Shocks will continue to happen. So if we can have a strategic plan or initiative for the next few years that can adjust for the next pandemic, for the next war, for the next inflationary cycle.
Can we? Isn't it the nature of these things that you can't plan for them? This time last year, if I'd said to you, well, China will still be in lockdown and there'll be a war in Europe, you would have said, well, that might happen, Richard, but what do you do about it?
Well, it's not necessarily just planning for one outcome, for one scenario. If you can plan for multiple ones and have the ability of organizations to pivot fast enough, the speed in which we dealt with the pandemic, the speed in which we moved from working physical to virtual, the speed in which companies chose to pull out of Russia, all of those are ability to react fast. And if you can do that, that's what they want. They want to be able to handle shocks, not fully predict them.
And on this question of Russia, I'm guessing it's going to be many years before companies will be going back in. Because even if the war were to end, the sanctions aren't going away anytime soon. And I'm sure that you and others are planning for a sanctions regime for the foreseeable future.
I think for most scenarios that says how will this war resolve itself, and you can talk to all the many different experts, there will be some kind of sanctioned environment for a long time to come. And so we want to be able to come back. And by the way, we want to go back into the Ukraine too. And hopefully that's a more manageable thing. And that's a very large country as well.
How many Davoses have you done?
About 7.
7. So you've been here up the snow. And are you a skier?
I grew up in the Philippines, Richard, and I never learned.
I asked for that, didn't I? I asked for that. Come and join me over at the Bible. So, if you have a choice,
all right,
you can choose any symbol if you're going to go that side or anything, or just put a tick or whatever. Would you prefer Davos in the snow or Davos in the spring?
Believe it or not, there's only been 2 days. I've already changed my mind. Sunday was a beautiful, sunny spring day, and it's been raining, and somehow I miss the joint efforts of walking and trudging through the snow for a town that's set up for skiers.
Good to see you, sir. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks.